Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our weekly planner page, and we are going to start by finishing the blue flowers and then working on the foliage. We are using Polychromos pencils. If you don't have Polychromos pencils, I didn't mention in the last video, I do have some comparison charts that you can use, which might help you to match up the colours with other brands. I have some with, I'm going to do this flower. I have some with Prismacolors and also some other brands, I can't remember what. This is indanthrene blue. Now, I'm rubbish at remembering which charts I've made because I've done so many, but I'm noticing that some are quite useful. The Prisma Poly one seems to be a really popular chart. I know Colour with Claire has got a fantastic one, and I used to use it a lot, and there were a few things with it that I wanted to change for me, so I made my own. I didn't copy hers, so I did my own colour matching. You know, I didn't have hers in front of me when I did it, so it might not be exactly the same as hers, some of the matches. I was doing one the other day which was quite complex. I was matching Derwent drawing pencils with Polychromos, and that was tricky because what I'm doing here, by the way, is making the petals a little darker near the middle just by layering up more colour and then less towards the tip. Yeah, it was tricky because the Derwent drawing pencils are really unique. They're very earthy grey type tones, and I just did not have any close matches to some of them, so what it ended up doing was mixing two colours together. Now that might be better for some of the polyprismas as well, because some of the colours just aren't available. You know, you can get your closest match, but some of them are nothing like. So I noticed that I think is it Miss Marty, I think, does a poly Prisma comparison chart where she does colour combos for some of them so that they match much better. So that's somewhere to go if you want to look for something like that. I can always do one as well if you want me to. I haven't looked at hers myself, but I don't want to sort of take people away from her because she's obviously worked hard on that one, I should imagine. Quite tricky. You know, when you're trying to match 120 to 120 is a lot of swatching and a lot of work to do. Obviously you've got some really easy matches with your sort of whites and blacks, some of your greys and things like that, but once you get to, you know, some of the colours are really tricky. Like Prismacolor has some really unique shades, like what's it called, ginger root. That's such a weird colour. I can never work out what you would ever use it for. It's just, I can't place what colour it is. I don't know, something about it. I'm just like, what is that? And every time I use it, I think, oh, I'll just try it for this, that, or the, you know, whatever it might be. I always think it looks a bit yuck. I end up colouring over the top of it with something else, and I think it's a bit of a waste of space, this colour. But there's probably some of you out there thinking, that's my favourite colour. She's being so rude. She's been so rude about my favourite colour. So if it is your favourite colour, let me know why. What do you use it for? Okay, I just don't know. I'm wondering if it's one of those colours that you might use just to lighten something, or mixing with something to make a different colour rather than it being a standalone colour that you might use. But I don't know. Let me know. So confused by that one. And but anyway. Yeah, so I couldn't, matching that one was really hard, and some of the really pale colours are very hard to match in Polychromos because we don't have those pale colours. So the only way to make something paler is to put it down really lightly and then maybe go over it with a white, or just a blending burnisher, so that you haven't got loads of white paper showing through, but you haven't got really thick layer either. It's quite tricky to do that. This is a really nice flower to colour. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you are, if you're colouring along. I'm not doing anything too special, so you don't really need to watch. You can just colour along, look at your book and listen if you want to listen. I have had someone say to me about putting music on my videos now. My son says, you know, oh yeah, everyone has music. Now, I did say in my last video how much I don't always like music very much. So I sort of think other people might be the same, that they only like certain types. And videos where there's music playing in the background while someone's talking, that really irritates me because I can't hear them properly. Or where they talk for a bit and then stop talking and then play some music, because I want to mute the music because I just don't like it, music playing. But I don't know when they're going to start talking again. I want to hear their talking. So I don't put music on for that reason, because it annoys me. And I always forget that if you want music playing in the background while you're colouring and watching or whatever, you can play your own. You know, you can play music. I guess you'd need another device. I don't know how it works, whether you can play Spotify and YouTube at the same time. But you could play your own music, and then you can listen to what you want to. You know, I would always suggest really relaxing music when you're colouring. Some sort of light, calm classics or something, you know. I'm trying to work out what's going on here. That is a bit of that. So I'm thinking maybe that line is just a bit of this. There we go. You know, because the whole idea of colouring is that we should be relaxing and, you know, enjoying. Although rousing music can be very enjoyable, it's not really the mood that you perhaps want to form while you're colouring. I don't know. I mean, it might just be just sharpening, what you're in the mood for. But I always think something calming is probably better. You know, I always imagine people do their colouring when they're the end of their day, when they want to just chill a little bit, you know, and just have something to direct their thoughts on that isn't their day, or you know, just to get away from things, a little place to escape, to make some happiness, you know, happy colours. So that's how I imagine it, but I don't know. Personally, for me, I just colour all the time I can. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. First, I did a bit first thing this morning. I mean, obviously I'm doing it now as well. But I got up this morning and I had a few videos to upload to YouTube, which I did first. And then a phone call to make and a few other bits and pieces. And then husband was doing a little bit of work from home before he left. So I couldn't record because he always wants to say goodbye to me at the last minute before he goes. So I got a mandala out and did a little bit of that while I was waiting, and then that's sitting on my desk. So when I'm editing later, I might do a bit of that. I don't know if I'm going to get time actually. I've got an appointment later this afternoon, so we'll see. I've got to go over to the next big town, take my son for a hospital appointment. It's very handy actually, because in that town the train station is across the road from the hospital, so we can just grab the train and hopefully, if it's running, and get on the train and get there. It's nice and easy. I'm not sure where we've got to go when we get to the hospital, but we'll sort that out. He's been there before, apparently, to this particular department with his dad, but I know he won't remember. So, anyway. Now, which colour for these two? I'd quite like to do the centre of that one in our dark indigo. Whoops. Just for consistency through, because we've done that for the other centres. So again, I'm going to try and make this darker on the outside and lighter in the middle. There we go. And dots all around. Yeah, I've got post today, and we tend to get it once a week. I think we're now getting it twice a week, which is quite good. I'm just looking at my colours. I'm thinking I haven't used Prussian blue yet, but I think that's a bit dark. I'm going to use the cobalt blue because can't use anything too dark because we've got this dark already going on. So here's the cobalt blue. And I think this and this, I think they're the same. Okay, so I'm going to do this one first because it's easier and just darker at the base and lighter to the tip. Yes, so I got a card in the post today from my mum, which was lovely. And it was a thank you for her birthday and Mother's Day presents. And it was date stamped in her town, which is about half an hour's drive from here, on the 25th of March. And I received it today, which is, I'm just looking at my calendar, the 9th of April. So it took 25th, 1, 2, over 3 weeks to get here. It's a bit mad, isn't it? So our postal delivery here is a bit rubbish. Our local MP, Member of Parliament, is trying to resolve the issue, but I mean I assume it's a staffing issue, you know. So I don't think it's something that can easily be resolved. I'm sympathetic in a way that, you know, if they need staff and they just can't recruit them and no one wants a job, then, you know, that's not really their fault. But it's really tricky. There are people missing hospital appointments because the letters haven't arrived, and that's when it gets bad. Now we are going to do these two. Now I think we'll do these in the Prussian blue. It's a nice new one, look at that. Well, it has been sharpened. You can tell because the lead has, blurred, that gets a marking on it. It's a sort of, I haven't got an oh, I have here that. I don't know if you can see. The lead is sort of got little lines down it. I've got no idea if you can see. Anyway, I'm going to put a light layer over. We're going to treat this like we did the centre of this flower. You can't see. I'll show you, don't worry. So over it like that. I actually picked the harder one to do first, but never mind. Darker around the edge. And then less as we go around. So this is like the lightest bit there. Just going around the edge again. There we go. We're going to do the same with this one. So it's nice and easy, just put a layer down. This bit's easy. You can always stop here. You have to do the adding more layers bit if you don't want to. There we go. And now around. Is my phone ringing? It's probably my mum. I'm just going to stop. Oh, I am back. It wasn't my mum. It was a scam call. So I was trying to hold them on the phone for a little bit of time so that they didn't scam somebody else. What they were doing, I'm just doing the edge of this a little bit more, was pretending they were from Lloyd's Bank and that they were going to give me £200 bonus if I opened an account with them. And they kept trying to find out what bank I was currently with. And they also had said they gave me my name and address, but they were slightly wrong, which I didn't tell them what was my correct name and address. And yes, it's interesting. I'm just trying to choose a colour for these. I think I've used all the blues. I'm just looking at them all quickly. I don't know. I used the ultramarine and the light ultramarine. Let me have a look. I've written it down. Ultramarine. No, let's use the light ultramarine one. We haven't used. It's the only one we haven't used, I think. There we go. Light ultramarine. I'm not sure what to do with these. I think I'm just going to block them in. They're quite small. It'd be nice to make them darker around the edges and make them look a bit like berries. They look to me like when you get ivy and you get little sort of berries on ivy. I don't know if any of you have observed, and they can sometimes have a little bit of red on them as well as green. But I'm just going to colour them as if they're a flower, because why not? Because we're not doing sort of red on this anyway. Yeah, so she was saying she was from Lloyd's Bank. She was going to give me £200 to open an account with them. And I said to her, oh, I got a branch of Lloyd's in my town. And she didn't understand what the word branch meant. So that was interesting. She was from a foreign call centre. But I would report it to Lloyd's, but I'm sure they're very aware. So we're coming out to have a little look now. And we've got our leaves to do and our sort of vines and things like that. And what colour? Well, I am quite tempted to try to use the turquoise colours. It will keep with our blue theme, but I'm just wondering if it's going to be a bit too samey. But I think I just want to have a go, so I am going to have a go. I'm just going to move some pencils. Sorry, clatter, clatter. So I'm going to start with my darkest bluish turquoise, okay? And I'm going to use it here where we've got a lighter plant, okay, flower. Sorry, come back in. Make you dizzy. In and out, zoom in, zoom out. Right, so we're going to just do these. I'm just going to block them in. Now, if you don't want to do turquoise leaves, I quite understand. I'll give you some different ideas. You could do, to go with the blue, you could go sort of violets. But as I said, there aren't that many in the... You've got your violet, your purple violet, your mauve, you could use manganese violet, you could use delft blue or blue violet if you want. So you've got 5 there. You could go with some pinks. Probably the purpley pinks rather than the reddy pinks I would go with. So your crimson, your middle purple pink, your light purple pink, maybe your light magenta, your red violet, your magenta, what's that? Yeah, light red violet, that sort of thing. Those would work, I think, very well, to be honest. Or, of course, you could go with green. Now I will go with bluey greens, so your phthalo greens, your light, middle and dark, I think they are, your deep cobalt green, your hookers, pine green, maybe your earth green, juniper green, your emerald green. Those sorts of colours would go really well as well. I'm just wanting to be a little bit different. Try to, you know, sometimes be a little bit original. Not usually very daring. So why not today? So yes, it always worries me when I get a call like that, not for myself, but for all the people that are probably giving these people their bank details and thinking they're going to get £200 when actually quite the opposite is going to happen. Now we haven't got a great deal of turquoise, so I'm going to do this vine with this same colour. So again, the bluish turquoise. Again, I'm just going to block it in because it's small. Yeah, it's sad. I know people that have been conned by these sorts of calls. It's horrible. I just can't get my head around why someone would behave like that, would do that. I'm never sure whether the people that are on the telephone, whether they know that they're conning people or whether they don't. Do you know what I mean? Whether they're being told they're doing something good, whether they're just really desperate. But it's very hard to forgive people when they're doing something so nasty. This is helio turquoise, so I'm holding it out of shot, and I am going to go down here and do it here. Although it's quite dark, it's quite greeny, so it's going to look quite different to these darker flowers. And I'm going to fade it towards the tip of these. You won't see it on these first view, but you'll see it later. Yeah, didn't think my mum would ring me this morning. I was a bit surprised when the phone rang, because she I spoke to her last night. It was Tuesday morning. She sometimes goes out on a Tuesday with my dad. The sun is beginning to shine. I am gonna got a big shadow, look. I'm just going to wait it. I hope it's not too distracting. I'm just going to finish this first and see if it goes back in, because it's so cloudy. There's a chance it might go back in. No, I think it's going to stay out now for a bit. Probably just while I'm recording, and it'll probably go away again. It's not very nice having that shadow, so I'm going to just shut the blind. It is going in now. The camera will take a minute to adjust, as will my eyes. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to do another bit in this colour. I'm just going to have a look and choose. I think I'm going to do these 3 leaves here. So still with our helio turquoise. I can't see that. Can you see that? Probably not. Now, because these leaves are quite narrow, I actually think I might ignore those veins in the middle. I'm just not in the mood for fiddly-faddling with them. So I'm just going to colour over them. Just fade it a bit towards the tip. And then, yeah. I guess we've always had people scamming, just not so much from abroad. You know, used to have people who said they would put in loft insulation and then they didn't, and you paid them, or they said they were going to do various different jobs and they didn't do it. That's always happening, but it's it makes me sad. Right, we have cobalt turquoise now. We're getting a little slowly lighter. I think I'm going to use this down here. I'm going to do these 4 all the same, I think. It feels to me like they should be the same because they're coming out of the same flower. I'm just going to make them lighter towards the tip. This one looks a bit more like a regular blue, doesn't it? If you started this and you think, oh, I really wish I'd done green leaves. Fortunately, I'm not thinking that. You can put some yellow over the top and it will change these to green. So, but don't just do it. Take the colour that you've used for the leaf that you don't like, scribble some on some scrap paper, and play around with different yellows. Because if you use an orangey yellow, a brown orange, a brown yellow, an orangey yellow, or a lemony yellow, you'll get very different results. So it's worth playing just to see what happens. Unless you're very used to blending your pencils, and then you'll know yourself what it's going to look like, and it won't look the same. The same yellow won't look the same on this colour as it will on this colour, for example, because this one's got more green in it than this one, I think, more yellow in it. So it will vary. So there are those. I'm going to do another bit of this colour. Actually these here and here look really quite similar. So I'm going to do both of these sets in this as well. Now while I'm colouring this, I'm sort of starting to think about what am I going to do for the background or the border. We've got a little tiny border. We could just do that and do no background. We could do a background within the border, you know, this inside of it, or we could do one outside the border. So there are different options available to us. I'm not feeling any of them at the moment. I'm wondering whether I probably don't want to do a background at all, because there's been a lot of work on this page already. Yeah, these three, sorry. So I'm not sure that I want to do one. So my husband was excited. He's managing to lose some weight. His medication has the side effect that it's an appetite suppressant. Now, obviously for some people that isn't a good thing, or people that are young people that are still growing and things like that. It's tricky. But he wants to lose a bit of weight, and well, he wants to lose a fair bit, quite a lot of weight, I think, actually. So having something that suppresses appetite has worked well. I made him a smaller lunchbox. This is cobalt green. I'm going to use it for this one, just blocking it in. And he said that was fine. He said he actually did feel hungry at lunchtime, but not until 1:30. And he hasn't experienced a feeling of hunger for a long time. He usually just eats because there's food and he just fancies eating, so he snacks a lot, you know, that sort of thing. So because he hadn't done that, he actually had an appetite and enjoyed it, so he found that quite the revelation. So that was quite interesting. But he also claims that he's tidying up more, but it looks like his art stuff is a bit tidier, I have to say. But then he had to put it away at the weekend. No, last weekend. And he hasn't, the longer he sort of has between times when I have to ask him to tidy it up because we've got guests, the more it spreads out and gets messier and messier. So we'll see. But he says his head feels clearer and he can think better. But we'll see. See, I think that is like that. There we go. And I'm also going to do a bit of this down here. Yeah. So I was just checking what other spaces I've got left to fill. Now we have a ladybird to colour. And I'm thinking, do we want to do the ladybird? Do we really want to do the ladybird in any colour but blue? Everything here is blue. So, oops. This is our last colour for leaves, and this is the light cobalt turquoise. I'm going to do these two first. It's exactly the same technique. This is quite a pale plant. What's that? Excuse me, that's a petal of that, isn't it? I wonder what colour I did it. It looks like it might be ultramarine. I'm just going to try. Is that the ultramarine? Yeah. So this is the ultramarine. I can smell a weird smell. It smells like school chemistry labs. What is that? What's that smell? Oh, when I was recording yesterday's video, I could hear a weird noise outside. Couldn't work out for ages what it was. I thought it was a street cleaner and it wasn't, and then I wondered if it was a drain cleaner and it wasn't. Never found out what it was. Oh, I opened the door and we thought that it probably was something over at the canal, because it sounds like a motor. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil for this bit. And the boats have motors. So I think there was a boat out there on the canal making all that noise. Nice. Right, now let's come out and have a little look at what we've got going on here. So we've got a ladybird. Now I'm having a look to see if I've got any bluey colours that aren't quite blue, and I'm wondering whether to use the delft blue for our ladybird, even though it's a little bit purpley. I think it might help him to stand out. So yes, I've convinced myself that's what I'm going to do. Delft blue for the ladybird. Here he is. Oh, delft blue. I'm just going to block him in really. It's too small. And now the frame colour. I'm going to use Paynes Grey to do my frame. Here it is. No, you need to see that side. It's really hard to read anyway, and it's not all on there. So let's do this. It's going to be quite careful work. You'll need quite a sharp point to do it. And all the way around. I can hear the noise again today. The video, by the way, where I was talking about the noise wasn't part one of this. It was what I was recording yesterday, which was the World of Flowers flower ribbon page. I don't know when the particular videos when I was mentioning it will go out. Oh, the sun's shining again. Now I don't know what to wear when I go out this afternoon. Do I wear a long coat and scarf in case, because it's going to be really windy, to keep me up just as a stem, to keep me dry and warm? Oh, we've got a gap. Can you see that? I'm going to have to be brave and go through. There we go. I don't think that gap is on the original page. Doesn't matter, who does it? Nothing enabled is perfect. Oh, I missed that too. More stems. Come back and do those. Oops. I think I'm going to use the cobalt green. I'm just going to sharpen it for all of them. So here's the cobalt green. So for this stem here, oops, and also for these, because I think this is cobalt green. Now I'm just going to look really carefully to see what else I've missed. I think I'm okay. And I'm not going to do a background, but I am going to grab a pen, a white pen, do a little bit of jelly roll. So this is jelly roll 8. I'm going to start up here on this flower and just do one on each of the circles, just a fine dot, and then around the centre like that. Then I'm going to move across to this one and I'm going to do some around here. And this one we're going to do these dots, all these little round ones. Sorry, not talking, concentrating, and around the edge. Don't want to do it on top because we've tried to make that little pattern, and the same on this one. Don't have to add the pen. If you like it better without, just leave it. Oh. If you haven't got a pen, you'll find. Gosh, this is how fine work. There we go. And on this one now I can't see the circles, they're so small, so I'm just going to guess. Well, I can see a few of them here. Most of them are too small though. There. Now I'm going to leave that there, I'm not going to do any more. Let's just pull it down so we're all in shot, because I don't think the others need them. So there is that page that I thought was very daunting, that I thoroughly enjoyed colouring. So that was good. So thank you for joining me, because I don't think I'd have had so much fun if I'd done it on my own. And yeah, I'm not going to, as I say, no background, I'm just going to leave it. I just like the blue and white. I think blue and white is just such a nice combination. So there we go. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a super Tuesday. Enjoy your day and happy colouring.